Don't judge, that could be you one day. Why would I have a baby with my cousin, have a baby with his brother, have a baby by a stud, add a man to our marriage, because you married to the stud, add a man to our marriage, me and my stud hunching on a man, and then me and the stud decide to separate after we done added this man to our marriage. The jokes write themselves.
Why would I settle for less when I can have exactly what the fuck I want?
I was running with some crazy ass narratives. I'm going to tell you right now, we both want to be with this man and we both want to be with each other. Period, point blank. That's it, that's all.
Long story short, we broke up, we've been broke up. I haven't been happy for a very long time. It was bound to happen anyways. I'm extremely happy now. I'm good. Me and baby boy healthy. Everything's cool. And at the end of the day, it wasn't a safe situation anymore. I didn't feel comfortable anymore, so.
And y'all on this app questioning how the hell could Lex leave court for a man? I'm trying to figure out how the hell could Lex have a man she don't know around her 2 daughters, shirtless. I don't give a fuck what the fuck is going on with them grown ass adults. But why is that man around them kids and she don't know that man?
I'm happy. I'm literally happy as fuck. Like, I am feeling more like myself than I've felt in a very long time.
In queer TikTok circles, Court and Lex were everywhere, and I mean everywhere.
You don't need a friend, boy, you're the man.
Millions of followers tuning in daily, watching their lives unfold in real time. They had that easy magnetic vibe that pulled people in without trying too hard. They were homeschooling their kids, documenting the emotional chaos of IVF, and sharing the quiet domestic moments most people keep private. The kind of content that made people who watch them pause and think, yeah, this is what love looks like. What set them apart was how real they felt. From earlier videos in 2020, I noticed that they didn't come across like another influencer couple chasing numbers or viral moments. They felt grounded, like 2 people genuinely building a life together and letting other people witness it. The pandemic had just hit, and Court, who was a chef, lost her job, while Lex, who was a banker, lost her job too. They had debts that incurred from this, but with the help of social media, they stood back on their feet. They had people who were emotionally invested in them and also people who supported them. It felt less like a fan base and more like watching friends grow together. Over time, it stopped feeling like a community and started feeling like a movement. Then January 2026 hit and everything cracked open. Before January 2026, the matching tattoos appeared, not between the 2 of them, but involving a 3rd person who suddenly started popping up in photos. And once the comment caught on, it was chaos. Long-time followers were so confused, they were frustrated, and they were trying to piece together what was happening in real time.
So I just want to sprint, charge to TikTok and say, Court and Lex will be getting a divorce. Their relationship is going to end. So they let this man into their house, into their bed, into their sheets. That's fine. But to make him like an equal partner, like, how long have Court and Lex been together? But they go and get this man's name tatted. Like, all 3 of them in one session. Lexus says Court and Rob, and Court says Lex and Rob. Like, at the same time, y'all got these tattoos. Okay. That man is going to crack more than just the 2 of them. We're going to crack that relationship in half. Yeah.
Conversations about betrayal, biphobia, and whether any of what they had been shown was ever real started flooding their comment section.
I just got 2 things to say about girls with kids. 1, I will never fuck with a girl with a kid. Okay? As a lesbian, I'm not fucking with a girl with a kid. I don't care what nobody says. I don't care what you convince me. She's always gonna want to go back to a man. She's always gonna love that thick penetration. Strap ain't gonna do it for her.
Then came the puzzle that everyone was trying to fix. Kurt started vanishing without explanation, and Lex spent a lot of time just trying to convince the public that she was still with Kurt. This was indeed subtle at first, then it became very noticeable. This isn't just another influencer breakup story. It's bigger than that. It's about how relationships, especially queer ones that exist so publicly online, are being reshaped at a speed that no one is prepared for. There is no pause button, there is no space to process privately, and everything happens out loud in front of millions. And I mean millions. It's also about how social media has turned intimacy into a product. Love becomes content, conflict becomes engagement. Every kiss, every argument, every vulnerable moment just turns into something that can be packaged, posted, and monetized. And eventually, everyone involved has to face the same uncomfortable question. At what point does living turn into performing? And how do you know when you've crossed that line? But that being said, let me introduce myself. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Jewel and welcome to my video. On this channel, I do whatever I want to do. I speak about whatever I want to speak about, whether trendy or not. I do deep dives, social commentary, whatever. So if this is your vibe, kindly like, share, subscribe if you care. Let's reach 50,000 subscribers. But that being said, let's get straight into this video. But before I get into this video, I just want to say that this has been a very good topic that I have researched, especially because I was watching this unfold in real time. I have a lot to say in this situation, especially as a lesbian myself and someone who loves to see queer love embraced in its full capacity. Again, I hope you enjoyed this video because you're going to have to tell me what emotions you have felt in this conversation. Also, I had a whole collection of timelines, but I did save them in my collection on TikTok because I had a whole collection for this whole video. And I woke up one morning and deleted everything. Yo, I almost cried. So some are from Lex's Instagram page, which was originally the page that they had together. So Kurt took over the TikTok and Lex took over the Instagram. I don't know if you guys get me, but yeah, I'm recording this on the 2nd of February 2026, and hopefully they do not delete what's on Instagram. That's my prayer. I tried downloading some, but some I can't download it, so I'll have to download them manually or screenshot them manually, if that makes sense. So I'm just hoping that they do not download it, because yeah. That being said, let's get straight into this video. Let's start with the beginning, because in the beginning there was magic, or so we thought. Remember 2020, that year when everything felt heavy and unreal, when we were stuck inside with nothing but our phones and our thoughts. Me, I'm different because literally I was working in Amazon and I was working in the warehouse. I was doing night shifts, from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. It wasn't funny. But anyways, TikTok genuinely helped people survive that period. And that's when Kurt and Lex came into the picture. They felt authentic, like a small pocket of calm in the middle of non-stop chaos. Watching them was comforting in a way that you really had to experience to understand. Their videos, when watched back, weren't just cute or funny, they were reassuring. If you had started believing that love was transactional or doomed or just not meant to work, especially for queer people.
Oh, come on, man, you can do better than that. Smack your goddamn daddy. Yeah, let me show you how to smack this motherfucker. You won't give back everything you took.
They made you pause and think, maybe I've been wrong about that. What really set them apart was how unpolished everything felt. They were not selling a perfect version of life. Homeschooling looked chaotic. Kids were loud and overstimulated. Nothing ever seemed to go to plan. They shared moments of their IVF journey that were raw and emotional.
Yeah, so we got our test results this morning. I figured that I had to research the results, but I figured it meant that I wasn't pregnant. But we still just trying to keep hope, and I think it's been maybe an hour since we opened the results, and my period just came on. So I'm gonna have to try again next month, or when I ovulate again. And I just wanted to record this because it's raw emotions. And Lex doesn't even know yet. She's getting her makeup done right now because we have to be on set in a few hours. So, just kind of dealing with it.
One week, everyone was celebrating with them. The next week, people were crying right alongside them in the comment section. They would post videos just sitting on the couch, doing absolutely nothing special, just being there together. They also would post videos of them doing TikTok challenges. Court and Lex will switch outfits, and sometimes Court would dress up girly as a femme and Lex would dress up as a mask, and somehow this little snippet of joy and video stitches was the most powerful part.
Let me get 2 quick pics of the... Darnell, that's you? boy, look at you, boy, looking like 1968. Go ahead on, boy. Hey, now, I'm fooling with you today.
The way Kurt looked at Lex, you would literally see that Kurt was so in love with Lex. It made queer domestic life just feel normal and maybe boring in the best way. Their love felt calm, predictable, safe, the kind of life that lets you breathe and relax, where nothing feels like it's about to fall apart. You literally could see the love radiate from their eyes. I could tell that Kurt was so proud that Lex was their person, and Lex was so proud that Kurt was their person too. And that's exactly why what came after was so hard to process. When it came to Kurt and Lex, people weren't just casually following them. They were invested in their lives. Kurt and Lex weren't just posting content. They were telling a story. A story about queer love, family, stability, and building a life together. Lex had 3 children before she met Kurt, and Kurt embraced the children with her whole heart.
Alright, so how many times I done told you to stop cussing on this game? I done told you 1,000 times.
Yeah.
And you keep doing it over and over again. And I told you the next time you was gonna do it, Mom was gonna teach you a lesson.
Yeah.
So I done brought her in here and she gonna teach you a lesson, and then you gonna see.
I'm gonna do it.
Go ahead, baby.
Yeah, cause that's crazy. Bro, please just act right, man. Cause it come down on me. You feel me? It come down on me. If you not acting right, I get in trouble. We both get in trouble. You wanna be in trouble? No. I wanna be in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Just get right. You know what I'm saying? Be a little bit quiet. Be a little bit quiet. That's fine. But if you get in trouble, I get in trouble. We get in trouble. If you man, you don't wanna be in trouble. Like my mom. Help me out. Please.
Honestly, I genuinely thought that Lex's children were Kurt's children when I had followed them. I think I followed them 2025, early last year, or late 2024, and I genuinely thought that all the children belonged to the 2 of them. But anyways, Kurt embraced the children with her whole heart, at least like I said from my POV. And this was something that Lex had joked about in one video, where she said that people always asked how she bagged Kurt with 3 kids. When it came to this couple, Kurt was the more masculine presenting one, and there was always this assumption that she would be the one to carry their baby someday. Lex was more femme, but she had, like, in my own perspective, she had like a dominating presence or aura. I feel like she's like a dumb femme from what I could see. People spoke about her past, but the narrative was that she would finally found her forever person. We'll come to her past very soon, like literally after this. Together, they were what people called couple goals, but it didn't feel fake at the time. It felt real, and whether they planned it or not, they knew how deeply people were connecting to them. That connection is exactly what made the fallout hurt as much as it did. Now, let's speak about the MTV chapter that will live on forever. Let's talk about Lex for a second because her background actually matters if you want to understand the full picture. A lot of the reactions people had later start to make sense once you know where she came from. It adds context, it fills in the gap, and it makes everything feel less random. So before cuts and before millions of followers, before TikTok even entered the chart, her name was Alexis. She was a teenager from rural South Carolina whose life got turned into entertainment before she was really old enough to understand what that would cost her. In January 2026, MTV aired an episode of True Life called I Had Sex with My Cousin's Baby. Alexis was 19 years old. She was pregnant with her cousin Andrew's child, and the episode was exactly what reality TV was doing back then. It was dramatic and sensational. It was built to shock people. They showed Andrew after he had been arrested for burglary. Family members were framed as judgmental and horrified. The entire situation was edited to look as scandalous and rule-breaking as possible. And of course, the internet did what it always does. It ran with it and never let it go. That moment followed Lex for years. Nearly a decade later, people were still dragging it up every time she posted. It became the go-to thing that critics used against her. Like clockwork, whenever she and Kurt gained more followers or went viral, someone would resurface that old MTV clip and start circulating it again. I didn't know about this until literally when they had broken up and someone commented and was like, is this not the girl that slept with her cousin? And then I went on TikTok and I'd seen this whole MTV based video that someone like posted, and there was another video where someone was like, proof that Lex is Alexis from I Had a Baby with My Cousin. Lex has always said that the show was heavily edited and partially scripted, and she said this while she was still with Kurt and after they had broken up, and also her and Kurt had done a TikTok video where they kind of reacted to it and they seemed to not care. So according to Lex said that producers shaped the story to make it more shocking than reality. And honestly, that tracks. Anyone who's watched reality TV long enough knows how manipulated those narratives are. When Lex agreed to do the show, she was 19, she was broke, she didn't have many options. She even said that she was homeless, and she was like, yo, think about it. It was acted in the park. Like, literally, I had no place to stay. She said she needed the money. She probably had no real understanding of how permanent that decision would become.
Alright, so, everybody done seen the video, clearly, of me. And like I said, I haven't spoke on it because it's traumatizing to me. And I don't care what nobody has to say, like, people saying it's not traumatizing, it is. When I have to think back about that time period, like, it literally breaks me the fuck down because I've been through so much. Anybody that knows me personally knows what I've had to go through, and I've had to go through my whole life. So I wrote something so that I don't get off script and say something crazy. So I said, I'd be lying if I said my feelings ain't hurt. I've been trying to keep myself busy so I don't have to think about it because I'm not no bad person. Have I had some bad judgment when I was literally a teenager because I was 19 when the shit was filmed? Yes. But this shit is really hurting me. Reality TV is bullshit and edited and scripted like crazy. I was literally homeless when I did the show and was trying to get on my feet. I saw it for the first time when the whole world saw it. And I was shocked as fuck how they portrayed me. Only thing I can say is that I'm sorry I'm not a perfect person. I got a past that's not pretty, which I've said before. I came up rough. Everything about my past is rough. It's not pretty at all. But I've grown and I've tried my best to be positive and be a good mother to my kids and a good wife. I don't know what else to say. I still love y'all and I hope we can get past this. It's not something I'm proud of, but I'm not ashamed of it either because my daughter is one of the best things that's ever happened to me. For example, Why would I be talking to my daddy in a park? It was scripted. You feel me? Me asking for money. He had no bond. It wouldn't have mattered if I had $1 million. I couldn't have got him out of jail. It was scripted. On top of that, we were no longer together at the time of me filming the show. And I haven't spoke to him in years to this day. And also on top of that, they edited it and made it seem like he was my first cousin. That's not true. He's a distant cousin that I did not grow up with. Okay, so anyways, I'm telling y'all all this to say that if any of y'all had to walk a mile in my shoes, you'd have been folded. Because I've worked and I've grown so much. And I came from 2 addicted parents. Y'all keep bringing up old shit about me. Y'all already knew that. What does that have to do with this situation now? I get what y'all trying to say. Oh, she's just a fucked up person. She just do anything. Well, I'm just out here living my fucking life and minding my own business and not judging other people. You know, sometimes we just do shit. I do what I feel in the moment is for me. Might not be for everybody else. It's not supposed to, because nobody else is living my life except for me. That's like, I wasn't even gonna respond on here for real, but the stuff that y'all like, I can't believe it.
I put this soda up, and I jump him, because I don't care. I don't care.
She and Andrew broke up shortly after their daughter Genesis was born, and despite all the speculation that people still love to throw around, Genesis is completely healthy. She has no genetic complications at all, and that part usually gets ignored because it does not fit the story that people prefer to tell. Lex grew up in the South Carolina countryside, and that clearly shaped how she saw the world. I could tell that her accent sounds foreign, even her mom's accent sounds foreign.
So I'm gonna tell y'all a little bit about me while I get ready to go to brunch. My name is Alexis, but I go by Lex. My middle name is Monique. I'm 30 years old. I am from Anderson, South Carolina, and I'm a Pisces. My mom is white, my dad is black. I have 1 younger sister, 1 older sister, and an older brother. Ooh, I can't talk while I do that. I feel like I'm gonna poke my eyeball out. I have 4 children, ages 12, 10, 8, and 1. And those 4 little people are the reason I do everything I do. And if you didn't know, I struggle with BPD, ADHD, anxiety, and PTSD. So every morning I get up and I put on a smile and I fight my brain specifically for those little people.
When it comes to Lex, her parents were together for 8 years. She has a white mom and a black dad. And the only reason why, not 8 years, 18 years. And the only reason why I know that her parents were together for 18 years because she had posted a video where she was like, I think both of her parents are Leos. And she was like, I don't know how they managed to stay for 18 years because they are literally polar opposite. So that's how I know that her parents were together for 18 years. That kind of long-term stability has influenced how she views relationship and family, or should I say it may have influenced, because I really don't know the dynamics of her parents being together. But by the time Lex met Kurt, she already had 3 children. She had Noel, Genesis, and Scarlett. Each one represents a different chapter of her life as a young mom who was just figuring things out as she went. So when Lex showed up on TikTok years later with Kurt presenting this version of queer domestic happiness and family life, she wasn't starting from scratch. She was sharing all of that history with her. Some people saw it as a redemption story. Other people made sure that she never forgot where she came from. And that tension followed her into everything that came next. That leads to a very straightforward question. Who is Courtney? It's worth stopping here because Court is the other half of the story and we still know very little about her compared to Lex. Her background is almost invisible and that absence may or may not matter because before TikTok and before influencing, like I said earlier, Court worked as a chef. She spent years in professional kitchens. When it comes to the world of chefs, the world is very direct. That world is direct, it's physical, it's demanding. You work fast, you work under pressure, and you see results immediately. Moving from that life into content creation is not a minor career shift. It changes how you structure your days, how you measure success, and how you handle stress. And instead of a dinner rush, there are uploads, there are algorithms that you need to match, you have to reply to comment sections, especially because we're still starting. And I'm sure when they were starting, they were replying to so many comments. And again, you have to be very consistent. So there is this constant demand for consistency. Over time, that shift becomes permanent. I know this because I have a friend who is a chef too, and honestly, like, you're on the job 2/7, you didn't have time to hold your phone. And what is so weird is because this friend literally looks like Court. This friend looks like Court, and the two of them are chefs. My friend just quit their job like not long ago. I feel like end of December, because they were like, this work is so demanding. So I know how demanding being a chef is. So moving from being a chef to a content creator, I would like to visualize that even though it may be simpler, it would be like a major shift in Court's life. Court and Lex, like I said, they were in regular jobs that didn't fit them before they committed fully to social media. That part of the story is often framed as romantic. Let me tell you guys how they met. So basically, they met at a wedding in South Carolina. Lex was there for her aunt's wedding and Court was working the event as the photographer. There was a brief interaction that turned into something lasting, and Court arrived to document someone else's relationship and ended up entering hers. That origin story just resonated with people because they were asked this in a magazine or an article called Hey Black Mom. So that's when they answered all these questions. And that origin story, like I said, resonated with people because it felt accidental and sincere. From this same Hey Black Moms article, it describes their meeting as life-changing for Alexis and framing it as love at first sight. What complicates this is how little we know about Court. There is no clear picture of her family background. There is no public account of her coming out. There is no visible dating history before Lex. There is no insight into what shaped her emotionally or what she struggled with before TikTok. Outside of her work as a chef and her shift into content creation and the fact that she was a photographer, which I only knew through the article that I saw online, I really don't know anything about like Courtney in that sense because there is very little reference to her background. That gap did create a problem. Lex had a documented past that anyone could search. Court did not. The internet filled in missing pieces on its own. People assumed her sexuality. People labeled her as stable, grounded, and dependable, largely because she was much more masculine presenting, and those assumptions reflected gender expectations more than reality. The only version of Court that the audience truly knew was the one presented on screen. Everything else was projection. In hindsight, that imbalance mattered because when things began to unravel, people who watched them felt that they understood Lex's history well enough to analyze her behavior. Cut, in my own words, I would say that Cut has remained opaque. Without context, it became difficult to interpret her actions or understand her role in what was happening. So that being said, let's speak about the Cut and Lex origin story. Cut and Lex moved fast, like objectively fast. They talked for a month, then they moved in together. 6 months later, they were engaged, and 9 months after their first meeting, they got married. Yo, if that sounds rushed, I'm not gonna lie, you're not wrong. But it's also not that rare anymore, especially when it comes to the queer lesbian community, because there's something called U-Haul lesbian. When people hear how long I've been with my girlfriend and the fact we don't even live together, people are like, what? Are you on heterosexual timing? And I'm like, bro, I don't know, because like, I've known my girlfriend since 2021 and we've been together since 2023. So like we're literally going to be 3 years this year. And honestly, like I live like over an hour from her. So yeah. Anyways, a lot of people meet someone and then they convince themselves that they found their forever person. I think it happens to almost everybody. And Cut and Lex, they fully believed that and they didn't see the point in slowing down to test it. Cut stepped straight into family life too. Lex already had 3 kids and that's not a small thing to take on, but Cut jumped in without hesitation. She became a stepmom to Lex's daughters and seemed genuinely excited about it. The early videos from 2020 and 2021 just show that clearly. You see them figuring out routines, managing the chaos of raising kids, doing those silly couple challenges that were all over the internet, especially TikTok back then. Their little arguments didn't feel staged, and watching those clips now, the chemistry is so obvious. It doesn't look like these two people were forcing content. It looks like the two of them, they were living their lives and they were filming along the way. One detail that didn't seem important at that time but later became a big deal is how they talked about identity. Neither of them explicitly called themselves lesbians. They were open about not liking labels and describing themselves as sexually fluid. Even Courtney has done a lot of videos saying, see, I don't have a label, like we don't believe in labels.
No, 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 no. Ooh, no.
Hey, can I pop shit? I might bottom on the low, but I top shit.
Back talk. It's quiet. Ain't no back talk.
Stupid, guys. Is this camera on me?
Yes, it's on.
That's stupid. Use your common sense.
Back then, most people just shrugged and moved on. But once Rob entered the picture, the details suddenly mattered a lot. Like I said, Cut presents more masculine, so many followers just assumed that she was lesbian. That was never something that Cut actually confirmed, but the audience ran with it anyway. I have friends who are like masculine presenting and they're like pansexual. Most of my masculine presenting friends that are not lesbians are mostly pansexual and they date men. And I only know of one masculine presenting bisexual person. So basically by 2020 they were fully established as influencers. They had a loyal fan base that saw them as meaningful representation for queer families. Their content covered parenting, covered relationships and deeply personal experiences like their IVF journey. Cut was the one who carried their baby. They worked with California Cryobank to choose a sperm donor and documented the entire IVF process. Cut deleted this video. Yeah, she did delete the video from her TikTok. Yo, I am so pained. I'm so pained. She deleted the video from her TikTok. But when they posted this, their audience went through it with them. In December 2023, they announced that Cut was pregnant. In 2024, she gave birth to their son, Bean. She went into labor at 36 weeks and Bean was born weighing 7 pounds and 12 ounces right at the end of cancer season. They shared a birth story video with all of those details and their followers also celebrated them.
All right, good morning, guys. Today's the day. We just woke up clearly.
Yes, I'm so tired. But today is the day and we're testing ovulation. Hopefully I got a smiley face this time. I haven't got a smiley face yet, so let's see.
And we're intimidating today, so either way, baby, here we come. We are currently on the way to San Diego to go and get our donation and inseminate.
And then the update, we tried the ovulation test this morning and it still says I'm not ready, but then we get the 2 days, so now we have the 4 day tracker. So I'm gonna try again in a couple hours and see if I get a smiley face.
Yay! So our donor is actually staying in the same place at the same hotel as us, so that we can get like a fresh donation. So we're about to get checked in and get settled and all that good stuff.
This guy's been researching the whole 2 hours, just researching. Oh, okay, you gotta do this before, you gotta do this after. You gotta do this, you gotta do this.
I want to make sure we get baby. We've known this donor for like a year. Like I said, he's a really great guy, super smart, athletic, everything, and he's got dimples like me.
Don't make me laugh.
How are you?
Don't make me laugh.
Do you feel pregnant yet?
I don't know. Get that fucking camera out the face. I'm the father, okay? Jesus.
Wait, too far. Okay. Okay, so we're 13 days post ovulation and we've been testing. We haven't gotten a positive yet, so that sucks. But
we went and got a blood test today.
Yeah.
And they said that it would be 3 days before we get results. So my period is supposed to come on in 2 days. So I guess if I miss my period, or not miss my period, if my period's late, you know, we'll still have the blood test and we'll just keep testing.
Okay, so we got our test results this morning. I figured that I had to research like the results, but I figured it meant that I wasn't pregnant. But you know, we still just trying to keep hope, and I think it's been maybe an hour since we opened the results, and my period just came on, so we got to try again next month, or when I ovulate again. And I just wanted to record this because it's raw emotions, and Lex doesn't even know yet. She's getting her makeup done right now because we have to be on set in a few hours. So just kind of dealing with it.
We're gonna be doing the IUI method this weekend. Our vials will be in tomorrow from
California Cryobank. We just
Yes.
partnered with them. Super excited. Love them to death.
Right. So we've been tracking our peak ovulation. We're waiting to get a smiley face, and we will be doing the thing this weekend. So excited.
So round 2, here we go. Hopefully we get a positive this time, guys. Baby dust to us.
What's the word? I'm too excited. Oh, we got a smiley face. A solid smiley face.
Yes.
We've been testing 3 times a day. This is the second time today. It's the third time.
Third time today, yeah.
We've been overdoing it.
Yeah.
But that means I ovulate in 12 to 36 hours.
Yes. So I just hit up the midwife, and we're going to do the IUI in like 12.
Soon.
Well, we're going to do 2 different times. We're going to do in like 12 hours, and then we're going to do again in like 36 hours. If y'all don't know what an IUI is, it's like intrauterine insemination. So they put a tube like through your cervix into your uterus and put the sperm in there. So hopefully this is the time. I look a mess, but I wanted to do like a quick update by myself because
I don't know if a lot of y'all know, but of course I carried all the kids before, and I didn't really have a good time during my pregnancies at all. So I'm not gonna lie, this process has been extremely stressful for me because I'm trying to like take care of everything for her and like make sure she has the smoothest time possible, so that this is like a great like memory and time for her. But whew, I am stressed out. So we are 6 days post ovulation, and the 2-week wait is killing us, but we're having some symptoms. And somebody had a craving and now has an entire pizza to herself. So, how you feeling, babe?
Hungry.
Also, she threw up last night, so we'll see. I'm like shaking. I don't know what to do with myself. Oh.
I've already cried. There's definitely a line here. I don't have to hold the light to it this time.
Okay, let's just confirm. Like, I'm literally shaking. Oh my god. Let's see. I'm so excited. I don't know what to do with myself. Y'all.
You're shaking.
I know, I'm like...
Are you counting?
Yeah, I'm counting. I wait till the... Okay. Alright. Okay, we're putting it down, and we're gonna see. Y'all, I'm so nervous. I think this is it, for real. I think that we got a bean.
There's a line there, for sure.
I've been researching my ass off. It's a lot harder to get pregnant than you fucking think it is. It's a whole journey.
If this is real, I feel like I knew I was pregnant when... Remember we were talking about how I was tasting pennies?
Yeah.
And then also I had a fever out of nowhere.
Exactly.
Like...
That's so crazy.
That's weird.
Okay. Alright, I'm gonna look at it.
It's not time yet.
It's not time yet?
No, I don't think it's time yet.
Oh, I'm shaking.
Really? I don't think these show up very well. Those are like the strips.
There's a line.
Let me see. Dang, now I'm shaking.
Do you see it?
No, I don't see the line on this one. Oh, I see it. Wait, right there? Wait, right here?
Yeah.
I see it. But this one's so much clearer. Look at it. Look at it at the bottom.
I know.
This one's a lot clearer. So the clear blue is a lot clearer. Like,
this one is like very faint, but it's fucking there.
This one's faint, but I can see it without squinting or anything.
The family structure looks like this. Lex had 3 children from previous relationships who were Noel, Genesis, and Scarlett. Then there was Bean, who was Kurt's biological son through IVF. After the breakup, Kurt made it clear that she has 1 child, meaning a Bean. That clarification surprised a lot of people because many followers assumed that Kurt viewed all 4 kids as hers. The biological line mattered more than the audience actually realized. There was even a moment where Kurt actually responded herself because a Snapchat user commented saying that they were disappointed in Kurt for ditching the other kids, and Kurt replied and said that she still talks to them. But then not long after, she admitted something that felt a lot more honest. She was like, she doesn't actually know what the dynamic with the kids is going to look like moving forward because she doesn't have those answers yet.
I'm on such a positive journey. So I'm just gonna say this once. Even like the slightest bit of negativity will get you blocked, because that I don't think you read the comment. I don't think you read the comment. I don't think you've been watching my stories, because it's just been me and Bean. I'm gonna give you another chance. I'm gonna let you stay. That's my good deed for the day. I'm gonna let you stay. Because maybe you ain't mean it like that, right? It's okay. It's fine. Assuming that I ditched the kids is a wild statement. Especially not knowing the full story. And y'all will probably never know the full story. And that's okay. It's not for y'all to know. But that's wild. That's wild. But hey, you can believe what you want. You can say what you want. You can have an opinion about whatever you want. It's fine. But if you must know, I still talk to the kids. So there you go. Support if you want. You don't have to. It's okay. All love. Also, I'm trying to answer the questions that I can for y'all. But a lot of y'all ask me the same questions, like about the kids or the dynamic. I don't know. I don't know yet. I don't have the answers yet. I'm sorry. I don't know a lot of shit right now. I'll figure it out. But when I figure it out, I'll let y'all know. But I don't know.
And when I say Kurt said she only has one child, she did not explicitly say, because on Snapchat she just said you and me. Was it you and me or just us? Sorry, she said just us on the Snapchat. But people interpreted this to her saying I have just one child, which makes sense. But anyways, this is where things just start to get complicated, and where I think that people just start asking a real question instead of just reacting emotionally. Does Kurt have a duty of care to those kids now? On one hand, Lex had those children before Kurt ever entered into the picture. She didn't give birth to them. I don't think that she adopted those children. Legally, once the marriage ends, there is no automatic obligation. And from a legal standpoint, the responsibility sits with Lex. But emotionally, it's not that clean. Kurt wasn't a distant partner. She lived with them. She helped raise them. She was part of their daily routine. And for years, those kids saw her as a parent figure, or at least a constant adult in their lives. Kids don't understand legal definitions or technicalities. They understand presence. They understand consistency. So when that disappears, it can feel like abandonment, even if that was not the intention. At the same time, it's also very fair to say that Kurt is navigating a breakup, a divorce, and a new reality of being a single parent to being. She's trying to figure out boundaries that probably weren't clearly defined before. Admitting she doesn't know what the dynamic will be feels less like avoidance and more like someone being honest about being in uncharted territory. So, do I think there is a moral duty of care? In some ways, yes, because when you step into a parental role, even informally, it creates an emotional bond that doesn't just vanish because the relationship ends. But I also think that duty has a limit. Courts can't make decisions unilaterally. Access to the kids, consistency, and long-term involvement all depends on Lex too. What makes this so messy is that all of it is happening in public. People are judging in real time based on fragments of information, while the people actually involved are still figuring it out themselves. Kurt saying that she still talks to the kids while also admitting that she doesn't know what the future feels like feels very human to me. So, do you think that there is a duty of care from Kurt's side now that they are divorced? I would really love to know. That being said, their presence didn't stop at TikTok. They also had an OF account, and I remember when they announced it, and I remember this in real time, I was so surprised. Not so much about LEX, but by Kurt, because Kurt always came across as the more reserved one to me, and the more quieter one, and also like the more private one, and a lot of people noticed that too. There was a very long running observation that Kurt really spoke for herself. I observed it too, and Lex usually did the talking, whether it was addressing rumors or clarifying situations or responding to criticisms. Even like people in comment sections, they've actually said it, because to many viewers, Lex felt like the spokesperson of the relationship, the one always steering the narrative. And some people even suggested that a lot of the much more unconventional choices they made as a couple were driven by Lex rather than being mutual decisions. One moment that really stuck with people was when speculation started circulating that Bean didn't seem emotionally attached to Lex, and Lex responded by saying that that she was the first person to hold Bean's hand and that she had been with him every day of his life. But when I checked the comment section, this was reposted because again, like I said, Courtney deleted all the picture, all the videos, but this was reposted by another comment. But when I checked the comment section did not receive that explanation well, because instead of setting the conversation, it just made things worse. A lot of people just felt like Lex was speaking over Court, or worse, telling Court what to say through her.
Straight from the horse's mouth. And again for the people, please.
I don't know what the fuck they talking about. Like, that baby loves you. What are they talking about?
Everybody been commenting on Courtney shit, talking about, oh, the baby don't want to be with me. He don't love me. I was the first person to hold this boy as soon as he came out the coochie.
Facts.
I've been with him every day for his whole life.
Skin to skin.
Please be so for real.
Mama, I don't know what the fuck they talking about. They just be doing too much. They doing too much.
Whether that was fair or not, the perception was there, and once an audience starts believing that one partner controls the narrative, every statement just gets scrutinized. Every response feels rehearsed, every clarification feels less like honesty and more like damage control. And that dynamic lingered in the background long before things just publicly fell apart. Their presence was so big, they landed brand deals. Not as much as the beginning, but they did land brand deals. They positioned themselves as a success story of a modern queer family, and they made money from it, likely a lot of money. But when you monetize your relationship and your family, every moment just turns into content. Pregnancy announcements becomes content, birth stories becomes content, parenting struggles becomes content, even conflict becomes potential content if it's framed the right way. That creates pressure most relationships never face. You're not just living your life, you're literally performing it. And the performance has to continue because that's how the bills get paid. So when your income depends on people believing in your relationship, things get complicated when the relationship starts breaking down in private. Do you tell the truth, or do you keep the image alive for as long as you can? Court and Lex would eventually have to answer that question. For a long time though, everything still looked perfect from the outside. And this is where we speak about the cracks, because the cracks begin. And here I'm going to speak about OF, polyamory, and Rob. Most relationships don't fall apart overnight. It's usually quieter than that. Small disappointments here and there, needs that don't get met, little moments that hurt but get brushed aside because dealing with them feels harder than ignoring them. Over time, those small cracks stack up until you can't pretend that everything is fine anymore. When I look back at Court and Lex, the OF decision feels like one of the first visible signs that something in their dynamic was shifting. At the time, it probably looked like just another business move. Plenty of couples, they do adult content together and make it work. I mean, look at Adam 22 and his wife. Of course, I don't know the details of their marriage, but at least from what we can see, it's working well. No? What I'm trying to say is that when it's done well, it relies on clear communication, strong boundaries, and both people genuinely being on the same page. With Court and Lex, it didn't feel like that. In hindsight, it felt like they've walked through a door that should have stayed closed, not because adult content is wrong, but because their foundation didn't seem strong enough to carry what came next. Like I said earlier, I was a bit shocked that Court decided to open an OF. Of course, I do not know her personally, but what the way she presented herself. Is that what I wrote? I wrote, but what the way she presented herself. Oh my god, English. But with the way that she presented herself, it would not be something that I would have seen coming. But let's move on. Around October or November 2025, they dropped news that caught almost everyone off guard. They were opening in their relationship. And this is not in a vague, abstract way. They were bringing in a specific person, a man named Rob. They said they met him at a club, and suddenly their marriage wasn't just about two of them anymore. It became a three-person situation almost overnight.
Girl, he ain't got one. That's the crazy part, is because people keep saying what they say, but he didn't even know who he was when we met. And I just seen a new storyline that is funny because he lived in my hometown. Somebody said we been fucking, and Court just now finding out.
Yeah, why y'all ain't tell me?
I never met this man before that. But he didn't even know who he was when we met. So he don't really do social media like that, like for real. So he ain't got no Snapchat. But I'm about to make him. Yeah, I'm about to make him make one. And when he make it, I'm gonna put it on there for y'all. So this is all. I mean, it's not new to us for real. But it's like because we tried it once before and it was very much short-lived.
Thank you.
With a
You're the
woman,
best.
we just did, you know what I'm saying, put it out there. But like this part is new to us. So yes, we're in a poly relationship. We decided to come to my hometown, which is Anderson. Which I don't know why we did that because Anderson is dangerous as hell. So we decided to come to Anderson one night because I was fucking around with my brother and my sister. We came down here and we ended up meeting him and he was just a vibe. And I'm gonna tell y'all exactly what did it for me. Okay, so sometimes when I go out, I like to play. You know what I'm saying? So I go out and I stare niggas down. Like we're gonna have eye contact. I'm gonna stare you down to weed out the weakness. And then when you look away, I already know you ain't my type of kind. You know what I'm saying? And that happens literally 9 times out of 10. When I look at them, you looking at me, I'm looking at you. And they're look off. He didn't. So I was like, right, you might be my kind. But I didn't even know he had already talked to Courtney before that happened. So, you know what I'm saying? It just, I don't know. The universe meshed it all together and it just was supposed to happen when it happened. And here we are.
That was not it. That was not it. I need
Lala! Hey! Oh my god, I miss you so much, girl. Oh my god.
The reaction online was instant and loud.
Maybe it's too early, but the famous couple Court and Lex, y'all, they got a man. I must need to get on Snapchat, y'all, because that's where all the drama be unfolding. The famous gay couple Lex and Court have a man. Like they in a party with a man. And the stud be laid up with him, kissing on him, touching on his bed. Hey, yo, what's going on?
There's literally nothing new under the lesbian sun. And all of the OG dykes knew the Court and Lex play immediately clocked it. Like, we already knew what was up as soon as that nigga came. Soon as that nigga came, we knew exactly what was up, why it was happening, how it was happening. Bro, like, there's nothing new under the gay sun. This is the same play. We've seen it so many times. Why are y'all surprised?
Because lesbian TikTok especially felt like it flipped upside down. To be very truthful, people were very overwhelmed, like, what do you mean? Everyone saw how messy this was from the start. Emotions ran high. There was even a girl that was like, I'm calling it, I'm going to get divorced and I'm going to stitch this video when it does. And she stitched the video when they got divorced.
So I just want to sprint, charge to TikTok and say, Court and Lex will be getting a divorce. Their relationship is going to end. So they let this man into their house, into their bed, into their sheets. That's fine. But to make him like an equal partner, like how long have Court and Lex been together? But they go and get this man's name tatted. Like all three of them in one session. Lexus says Court and Rob, and Court says Lex and Rob. Like at the same time, y'all got these tattoos. Okay. That man is going to crack more than just the two of them. We're going to crack that relationship in half. Yeah. Court and Lex will be getting a divorce. Their relationship is going to end. And the worst part is they're splitting the kids like it's the goddamn Parent Trap.
People didn't know what to make of it, and context matters here. This wasn't just any couple experimenting privately. This was a pair who had built their entire public image around queer family life. Representation wasn't a side note for them, it was literally the core of what they shared. For years, they had positioned as proof that queer women could have the full picture: love, kids, stability, a happy ending, etc., etc., etc. And when that image cracked, it didn't just feel like relationship drama, it felt like the beginning of something unraveling that a lot of people had deeply believed in. When people start asking whose idea it was to open the relationship, both Scott and Lex were very clear. They said that it was a mutual decision. They posted videos after videos talking about how happy they were, how secure they felt, how this new dynamic was supposedly working for them.
I was running with some crazy ass narratives. I'm going to tell you right now, we both want to be with this man and we both want to be with each other. Period, point blank. That's it. That's all. Me and my wife are still very much in love, still very much married. We'll continue to be married and continue to be with our man. It's very simple. There's no backstory to it. There's no weird bullshit that y'all making up. None of that. Like, it's simply the way that it is. Period, point blank. There's no extras to it. Like, there's no reason why. There's no none of that. We met the nigga, we liked him, and we kept him. Period.
My major concerns was with the kids because this man moved in with them, and a man with kids, I'm not saying that, oh, he's a pedo or whatever, but like that's something that you should put in mind. That's why when I was doing a video on the Resilient Jenkins, I was like, how do you invite a man to come and stay with you and your children when you don't know this man from Adam? So basically, when concerned about their kids, especially whether the kids understood what was happening, Lex was so quick to respond. She said that they didn't do anything without making the kids aware. Basically, Lex has deleted all the videos about her and Rob when the three of them were in the house. She deleted from her Instagram, but I can remember when this happened in real time because she was like, the kids know everything, that they explained everything to the children in an age appropriate way. I remember this post clearly too because at that time they felt very firm, almost defensive, like they were trying to reassure both themselves and the audience that everything was under control. But then the story changed. After the breakup, Lex said that she and Kurt broke up, and after that, Rob came into the picture.
This is gonna be the only time I address this because this is wild. Me and Courtney broke up, and then me and Robbie reconnected. I didn't leave nobody for nobody. Obviously, there were things in me and Courtney's relationship that were not working out, which may have contributed to us adding somebody else. Y'all might have been right about that part. We didn't see it at the time. We see it, and we seen it when we seen it. That's it. I did not leave anybody to go be with nobody else. That's not what happened. We just happened to reconnect, and that's that. And shit. I don't know what to say about that. Me and Courtney are cool. Just got off the phone with her. Everybody else is more mad about this than we are. Like, we're cool as fuck. Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
And that's where the timeline starts to feel off because that version of events directly contradict what people watched unfold in real time and what Lex said earlier. Rob didn't appear quietly or later on. He was introduced while Kurt and Lex were still presenting as married, happy and united. They filmed together, they spoke together, they even got damn matching tattoos. Like, Rob had a tattoo of only Kurt's name on his neck. If he had of Lex, I never saw it, but like they had each other person's tattoos on. Kurt had Lex and Rob, Lex had Rob and Kurt, and Rob had just Kurt but I didn't see of Lex. and these people defended the dynamic together. So when Lex later reframed it as Rob entering after a breakup, it raised a very uncomfortable question. What the fuck is going on? Were they already broken up behind the scenes? It's very entirely possible that the relationship had been emotionally over long before it was officially announced. A lot of people stay together publicly while privately just falling apart, especially when there is money, kids, and a shared brand involved. And when your income depends on presenting a happy, stable relationship, the pressure to keep up appearances is so intense. That doesn't automatically mean that someone was lying maliciously. Sometimes people are in denial. Sometimes they are trying to buy time. Sometimes they are not ready to accept that it's over, even if it already feels that way. But does it apply here? Do you think that they were in denial? But from the outside, it does start to look like the camera version of their relationship lagged behind the reality. Like the audience was watching a performance of togetherness while the actual relationship was already unraveling. And that's the risk of turning your relationship into content, because when things start breaking down, there is no clean way to separate what is real, what has already ended, and what you're still pretending to be for the sake of the story. Now, let's speak about the silence before the storm. By December 2025, it was obvious that something wasn't lining up, at least if you were actually paying attention, because I was. It didn't start with a big announcement, it started quietly. Court and Lex stopped showing up in the same videos. For a couple who have built their entire identity around being together, that absence was allowed. When they began posting separately, it felt very intentional, like distance had already set in long before anyone could say the words out loud. Then came the separate Instagram accounts. That was another tell. It felt like these two people were slowly untangling themselves in public while pretending that nothing had changed. On top of that, the comments started to get turned off, and that usually only happens when the questions hit too close to home. You didn't need confirmation at that point because the evidence was scattered all over their socials. If you connected the dots, the picture was clear. The throuple was already falling apart. More details kept piling up, and people noticed that Rob followed Lex but not Court. That raised immediate questions, because if this was really a shared dynamic, why was the connection so one-sided? Then location started telling its story. Court appeared in Miami with friends, looking relaxed and detached. Lex stayed up in the mountains. Rob was with Lex. On Lex's Instagram, even posts with Rob, like I said earlier, had been deleted too. But every other thing is still there. The marriage unraveled slowly, especially with distance, and by the time people started openly talking about it, Court and Lex were already done in every way that mattered. There was one video that made everything click. Lex was talking like she usually did. So basically they were walking, filming together, and it felt like she was just trying to reassure everyone that they were still together. At one point, she panned the camera towards Court, who just laughed quietly in the background and just let Lex do all the talking and explanation as always. Honestly, it felt familiar in a way that wasn't comforting. It felt very awkward to me. So when January 2026 came and they finally said something, it didn't feel sudden at all. It felt very overdue. They put out a joint statement saying that they were separated. Every sentence just felt carefully picked. It was calm, it was polite, it was very controlled, lots of talk about mutual respect, genuine care, that there was no drama, they're not blaming anyone, it was just two people going in different directions. They made a point to stress peaceful co-parenting and how everything was being handled maturely and privately. It felt like a shutdown, like something written to quiet people down and just stop the questions before they got uncomfortable. And honestly, no one really believed it. But then people had already watched this unravel in real time. The THROUPLE announcement, the matching tattoos, the couple content suddenly disappearing, the separate accounts, the way things just felt uneven and off. None of it screamed quiet, mutual, or clean. So being asked to accept that it all ended neatly with no hurt or no confusion or no tension just felt very unrealistic, and it felt almost insulting, because if there truly wasn't any drama, why did it feel like they were trying so hard to make everyone believe that there wasn't. Hopefully that makes sense.
All right, y'all. So similar to the Muses, popular queer content creators Court and Lex, who just announced last week that after many years together and 4 kids, they were separating, with Lex now only dating boyfriend Rob, who they brought into their same-sex relationship last year, and then Court kind of doing her own thing, because I still haven't been able to confirm if the rumors about her having a new girlfriend is true or not, put out a statement letting their fans know how they plan to separate all of their shared social media accounts. Now remember, before they had officially announced their separation, they both had created their own individual Instagram accounts, hinting to their fans that they were planning to start doing things separately versus as a couple. But even with them having their own individual accounts, they both were still cross-posting on their shared account because it has over 1 million followers. So fans have been wondering who is going to get what, and now they're answering that question. So in this statement, they say, we want to come on here together and give some clarity about how things will look moving forward. After a lot of honest conversations, we have agreed on the direction that feels best for both of us. They go on to say that Lex will be taking over their shared Instagram account, court.lex, that has over 800,000 followers. She has already done. The name has changed from court.lex to just .lex07_, and she still has her individual Instagram account, just _lex07. Then she will also be taking over their Facebook account, which is just Court and Lex, and that has over 400,000 followers. Then Court will be taking over their family YouTube channel, the Sully Fam, that has almost 200,000 followers, as well as their shared TikTok account, which is their most followed platform with 2.5 million followers, Court and Lex_. They go on to say that this decision was made mutually and respectfully, and we're both at peace with how we're moving forward. Again, there's no beef, no drama, just two people choosing paths that fit where we are in our life right now. That they appreciate all the love and support fans have shown them over the years and hope that y'all will continue to rock with them individually on their journey. Then they ended their statement by saying, thank you for respecting our space, our families, and this new chapter. Love always, Lex and Court. Now, I can imagine that now that they are officially separating all of their shared Instagram accounts and just doing things as individual brands, that this will probably be the last statement coming from the both of them, and any other communications will be from either Lex or Court as individuals.
But now, let's talk about the aftermath. Once the breakup was out in the open, everything seemed to unravel almost immediately. Their joint statement made it sound calm and straightforward, like two people quietly agreeing to move on. But almost right away, two different stories started to emerge and they did not line up at all. Court began posting things that felt much heavier than anyone expected. Her sadness didn't seem to be just about the breakup itself. It sounded like the relationship had been weighing on her for a long time, long before anything went public. She wasn't just saying that she was unhappy. She hinted that she didn't feel safe in the relationship, and that's not a small thing to say.
Y'all, I'm assuming some of y'all didn't see the breakup post on Instagram because y'all keep asking me on here, so I'm just gonna address it. And I know I owe y'all an explanation to a certain extent because y'all been supporting me, so I got y'all. Long story short, though, I'm not gonna speak on it very long. I'm not gonna say too much out of respect for all parties. But long story short, we broke up. We've been broke up. I haven't been happy for a very long time. It was bound to happen anyways. I'm extremely happy now. I'm good. Me and baby boy healthy. Everything's cool. And at the end of the day, it wasn't a safe situation anymore. I didn't feel comfortable anymore. So that's done. Happy for, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just gonna keep it pushing. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate y'all love and support. Y'all have been amazing. Fucking awesome. So yeah, I got some content coming for y'all soon. Just bear with me. And yeah, I love y'all.
When someone talks about feeling unsafe in a marriage, that usually points to something deeper than everyday arguments or normal relationship stress. It changes how you hear everything else that they say. Some people speculated that it was the introduction of Rob or that Lex may be controlling. After that, her focus narrowed almost entirely to being every post felt like a quiet check-in, making sure that he was okay, making sure he was protected while everything around him was falling apart. That made sense to me because he's a baby. He didn't ask for any of this, and it felt very cruel that he was caught up in the middle. Then Court said something that really landed plainly. Like I said, she said that she has only one child, allegedly. one. She didn't explain any further and she did not need to. I mean, the meaning was obvious, but for years, Lex's 3 children, Noel, Genesis, and Scarlett, had been part of Court's daily life, and she helped raise them, she lived with them, she showed up as a stepmother, not just in theory, but in practice, and they were woven into her routine, her home, her content, her identity. There's one video that Court did that I really, really liked. I think, like, even before all this happened, I used to go back to, like, watch it. I don't know if you guys remember that trend where they open the eyes and then you now, like, open your hand, and when she opened her hand, it was like the children, like the whole family just walking, and then she closed it back. Like, I, even before all this happened, I used to, like, go back to, like, watch that video over and over again. And again, like I said, they were woven into her routine, her content, her identity, her home. So hearing her draw that line so clearly felt a bit jarring, you know.
Stay forward. I pinky promise, I'm not responding to no more negativity, for real. Like, I'm happy. I'm literally happy as fuck. Like, I am feeling more like myself than I've felt in a very long time. And I'm not addressing no more negativity. I'm not letting nobody else get me out my character or, you know what I'm saying, make me feel no type of way. This is my life. I'm living it. I'm happy. My kids are happy. I mean, you can't make everybody happy, and I'm not everybody's cup of tea because I'm a shot of tequila. You feel me?
That's damn right.
Hell yeah. So,
Damn right.
I don't know what else to say.
Factually, like I said earlier, I feel like I'm repeating, but like, she's not really wrong. They weren't her biological children, but emotionally it felt cold to a lot of people. I'd watched her be close to those girls for years, so seeing that distance appear so suddenly raised uncomfortable questions about what had really been going on behind the scenes. At the same time, Lex seemed to be telling a completely different story. Not long after, people started saying that Lex and Rob were already living together. They were not casually dating, they were building a shared day-to-day life. And it wasn't just anywhere, it was in Anderson, South Carolina. So that is Lex's hometown, and that's the place that she grew up. And in my own opinion, that matters because Lex wasn't just starting over, she was going back to where she came from. But this time, she was going with Rob, not with the family that she had built with Court.
Why y'all mad? Look at that hair. I did that. Not the pillow. Listen, be mad at her. Hate her. Talk shit to her. Not me. All I did was be handsome and chocolate. But y'all wish I could do that.
Hey, listen, man. I ain't gonna lie. I've been called a lot of things. But being called a home wrecker? Damn, bro, that's hurtful.
Y'all, I don't mean no disrespect when I say this, but this is my life. I'm the only one gotta live this shit. If you don't want to see me do whatever the fuck I want to do, there's the door, bitch.
Right.
I don't know what else to say. I'm happy. I'm literally happy as fuck. Like, I am feeling more like myself than I've felt in a very long time. And I'm not addressing no more negativity. I'm not letting nobody else get me out my character or, you know what I'm saying, make me feel no type of way. This is my life. I'm living it. I'm happy. My kids are happy. I mean, you can't make everybody happy, and I'm not everybody's cup of tea because I'm a shot of tequila. You feel me?
That's damn right.
Hell yeah. So,
That's damn right.
I don't know what else to say.
So Court and Lex had something to say, but I guess they didn't want to say it too loudly. Let's get into it. Anyone that saw my video initially might have saw these comments before they got deleted, but if you didn't, here they are. The first one essentially said that they have known this man, and honestly, that they really didn't plan on putting him out there like that, but someone wanted to out them, and so they wanted to take control of their own narrative. Big mistake. Huge. The way 99% of us found out that Court and Lex were dating a man was from Court and Lex. Y'all outed yourselves. Someone being like, I'm gonna take a little picture and share it. You should have just ignored it. You should have just denied it. At the end of the day, Court and Lex as a brand, it is your livelihood. And we come here for this WLW blended family that is beautiful, and it is imperfect, and it is complicated like the rest of us are. And that's why we care so much about this platform. That's the reason that we're here. And so to polybomb us and be like, you want to see us? Well, you got to see this man now too. And so what we see next from their page is we're being spammed with intimate videos and all these things that are personal and private so that they can try and prove really what they say in this next comment. We shall show you better than we can tell you. We ain't never breaking up. I don't know why y'all can't just see that we're happy. And so what I suspect is that Lex took it upon herself to prove that they're so happy by posting all these intimate videos and everything of Court and Rob and all of them laid up, and it really went too far. And now we see Court is in Miami and she's saying, I ain't got no plans of going back home. And we see that Lex is laid up in the cabin with Rob for his birthday. And we see that all their social media have been split into separate pages, which all the pages have been established before, absolutely. But now we see that they're promoting, like, go to the separate page, go look at the separate page. And currently what we see as well is that they're posting videos from the vault, as in previously recorded videos that were either like on a timer or something, but you can tell the difference in their hairstyles, right? Like currently Lex has the extensions and Court has taken them braids down. So every time I see them braids, I know the videos from the past. Right now she has the straight back cornrows. My next guess is that they will pull a true Domo and Chrissy. If y'all remember, they had a big blow up, big public breakup, and then they made a video and they're like, couples just fight sometimes. And they tried to convince us that things were all fine and dandy. But then we know how the story ends, baby. They went two very separate ways down two very separate paths. And so it takes about as much time to break up as it does to have the relationship. And so who knows? But ultimately, wishing the very best towards the family of it all. Don't split them babies up. Siblings need to stay together. Figure out custody. We can do it in queer spaces. We can do it, baby. Just like everybody else, we can do it.
And when you put that next to the THROUPLE story that they had been pushing just weeks earlier, it starts to feel off. They had framed the open relationship as equal, balanced, a shared decision between three people. They even got matching tattoos to prove how committed they all were. But once the breakup happened, it became clear how uneven it all really was. One relationship moved forward quickly and comfortably, and the other was left behind. And let's not forget the video that Lex made after the breakup when she said that she and Rob reconnected after the breakup. So, was she and Rob an item before she got with Court? That's a question, because in the end, Lex chose Rob. After that, Lex's post took on a noticeably lighter tone. Also, I want to say this is allegedly, but I just found this out yesterday, or no, 2 days ago. It's been rumored, yeah, because there is a YouTube channel that spoke, I think there are like 3 queer women, American women. They spoke about this relationship. I watched the whole video. They had 2 videos on Court, and yeah. So basically, allegedly, Court has a girlfriend. I've seen videos with this person and Bean. There's even a video where she's like pecking Bean or whatever, and I was like, isn't that too soon? But it's not my business.
Oh, Lord. I did not think we would still be discussing the throuple that broke the lesbian and queer internet in 2025, in 2026. But, you know, at Court, Lex, and their new boyfriend, Rob, we are here to discuss them once again, because the streets are saying that not only allegedly does Court have a new girlfriend, but that she's been spending a lot of time away from Lex and Rob while having that new girlfriend. So let's get into what we know, what I was able to find out through my investigation, because it's a lot of like breadcrumbs and speculation, no hard facts. So I'm gonna say that out the gate. I don't have any hard evidence. This is just what I've been able to gather, right? So
Yeah.
right after folks were speculating that the couple had separated last year because Court, remember, was in Miami with some of her social media friends while Lex was on a cabin trip with Rob. The two were seen back together as a family, with Lex posting with their youngest son. And I did cover the child's face because he's so young and I don't, we don't feel comfortable sharing child, but that's their youngest son in the video. They were seen spending time together. And also Court and Lex were seen together for the first time since the allegations of separation had came out, right? Okay, cool. But then last week, I saw a video floating around of Court allegedly with this new girlfriend, or at least a woman she's entertaining or spending time with, or maybe just friends with, named Ada. I think it's Ada, named Ada. With folks jumping to the conclusion because allegedly this lady friend or just friend was seen reminiscing on spending time with, surprise, the couple's youngest son, which was really interesting. Let me find the video to play it for you guys. Here we go. Now, folks who watch the couple Snapchats religiously are also claiming that Lex and Rob have allegedly moved into a new apartment together in South Carolina, where Lex is from, while Court has been visiting friends in LA, again, doing her own thing. So they're saying that, again, they are spending time separately away from each other. Also, in a recent Get to Know Me video on Snapchat, viewers noticed that Lex didn't mention being married at all in the video. Let's watch that.
But anyways, as I was saying, in the end, Lex chose Rob, and after that, Lexi's post took on a noticeably lighter tone. She's talked openly about how much happier she feels now, about life feeling easier, brighter, more peaceful, and in isolation. And that's not a bad thing. Living a relationship that wasn't working can bring relief. It can feel like you're breathing again. But what makes it sting was how public it all was. She knew Kurt would see it. She knew millions of people would see it. And to a lot of people who were watching Kurt grieve the loss of her marriage and family, those posts felt harsh. I'm not gonna lie, the public is really on Kurt's side. Like when they announced who was taking which accounts, and when Lex was like, okay, yeah, I'm taking Instagram, people were like, okay, so that means I should unfollow on Instagram then. Literally. Like the public, they love Kurt. Even when they had their own separate accounts, Kurt's following grew like to 50k while Lex was 20k. So like literally people fuck more with Kurt than Lexi. So yeah, me, I'm following all of them. I'm following all of them. I have no bone to pick in this fight. But anyways, so lots of people who are watching Kurt grieve the loss of her marriage. Just posts, like I said, they felt harsh, like rubbing salt into an open wound. The message that came through, whether intended or not, was that life got better the moment Kurt was gone. And I'm not going to let Kurt go scot-free too, because going online and saying what you said, Lex was going to say it too, speaking about how you just have one child or it's just you and being, and how you are not happy for a long time. I mean, let's be realistic, it will hurt both parties involved. Okay, so let me clarify. It will, like I said, it was a picture on Snapchat that Kurt posted with her and baby Bean, where she wrote "just us," but she later spoke about the arrangement and visiting rights, I guess. But anyways, I don't think Kurt, like I said, adopted Lex's children, and people, like I said, they turned on Lex quickly, and not, yeah, some of it crossed line into personal attacks. There were accusations that flew in every direction. Some people claimed that Lex used Kurt and that she never really planned to stay, and that she had always wanted to be with a man and was just waiting for the right one to show up. I don't know if Kurt is Lexi's first woman. I would like to think so, because I think she's been with men all along, and Kurt was the first woman that she's been with, and they got married under 9 months. Yo, people were like, they think that Lexi is using Kurt, and that's when the conversation just turned ugly in a different way. Old stereotypes about bisexual women just came rushing back to the surface. So there's this idea that bi women can't really commit to other women. People believe that they're just passing through, that they'll always end up choosing a man in the end. This is a narrative that is hurtful and deeply unfair, and it suddenly became part of how people talked about this breakup. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of used to have this mentality before, because all the bisexual people that I have heard of and I know, they've kind of ended up with a man. And things that I've heard like other bisexual people saying that they're just experimenting with women and all of that. So, but again, like I said, I don't have that mentality any longer, but I used to, even before I came out with my own sexuality, because and I'm like, okay, yeah, I used to have so many questions and all of that. Well, I've healed from that. I would like to think so. But anyways, bisexual women, they push back hard. In the comment section, they said that one person's choices shouldn't be used to judge an entire orientation. That relationship fail for all kinds of reasons that have nothing to do with sexuality, which I agree. At the same time, some lesbians say that this situation just confirmed fears that they already had. Others called that response biphobic. There's been a video on Instagram that she was literally like speaking, this is why I don't fuck with bisexual women. This is why I don't fuck with bisexual women. Because they always go back. They always go back to when they was talking, literally speaking about like strap, when they don't enjoy the strap any longer, they go back to what they had missed. And honestly, I kind of feel like that is biphobic, you know?
I just got two things to say about girls with kids. One, I would never fuck with a girl with a kid. Okay? As a lesbian, I'm not fucking with a girl with a kid. I don't care what nobody says. I don't care if you convince me. She's always going to want to go back to a man. She's always going to love that dick penetration. Strap ain't going to do it for her. Secondly, thank you. Have a good.
Secondly, I definitely think Court and Lex broke up. And I feel like I missed a whole chapter. Am I the only one? It's giving Court moved out. Court made her own page. Lex got her own page. The kids look separated. I don't know what's happening, but I feel like I missed a chapter. But this is why I will never, and I'm so big on that dykes and studs and, oh, I love bisexuals and I love good and straight girls. It's not a flex. Because she's playing with you, Bookie, right? She's playing with you. And it's just like insane to see everybody that I know that dated a girl that like men, they went back to a man.
And this discussion has spread so fast, and what started as one couple's breakup just turned into a wider painful agreement about trust, about identity, and about belonging in queer spaces. Nothing really got resolved. Feelings just got bruised on all sides, and around January 2026, Kurt was reportedly in LA, far away from South Carolina. And she was doing videos with Zasha and Zasha's current wife, the Tate. She was doing videos with them, and I was like, I didn't even know you guys were friends. But anyways, she was far away from Lex and Rob, and it felt like she needed distance, not just physically, but emotionally. Felt like she needed space to breathe, space to think, and when your entire life collapses at once, even asking what comes next can feel very overwhelming. But it's usually the first step forward. Then something unexpected happened. Lex posted a video on Instagram showing her and Kurt together. They weren't just in the same space, they looked comfortable, they were friendly, they were almost at ease. That video clearly aimed to show that co-parenting was working, that they could put their issues aside and show up calmly for their child.
No, we're not together. I've been trying to tell y'all that we're cool. Look what you made me do! You ain't nothing. Anyways, no, we're not back together. We're cool. We're co-parenting.
Give her a ring.
Just because I don't post something on the internet doesn't mean it's not happening. I see my baby all the fucking time.
Ooh, okay.
I just don't post it on the internet.
Yeah.
Even her ring. Y'all think every single moment of my life goes on the internet? It don't.
After everything that happened, watching that video felt disorienting. On one level, it's a very reassuring message. When parents split up, kids benefit from seeing adults cooperate. There are calm handovers, there's respectful communication, there's stability. And if that's what they're trying to show, honestly, it's not a bad thing. But it's very hard to ignore the performance element, because this video had like over 1 million views compared to other videos on Lex's Instagram. Even now, long after the marriage ended, they're still making content together. They're still choosing carefully what to show. They're still shaping the narrative. For years, every stage of their relationship was turned into content. Engagement, wedding, pregnancy, birth, parenting. All of it was shared, all of it was monetized, all of it was packaged for an audience. Now, the breakup is being treated the same way. That doesn't automatically mean that it's fake, but it does make it hard to know what is genuine and what is being done because a camera is there. When your relationship doubles as a brand, the line between living it and performing it just starts to blur. And when that relationship ends, the performance doesn't necessarily stop. It just changes form. Watching that recent video, it feels like the show is still going, different formats, same stage. They are still deciding what we get to see and what stays hidden. And that, more than anything, explains why this whole situation has felt so complicated from the very start. We weren't just watching two people fall in love and fall apart. We were watching a story being told, shaped, and edited in real time. And now, even the ending is being presented that way.
We've seen this before and we know exactly how this is going to end. If you follow social media couples, if you follow lesbian couples for sure on social media, then you know exactly how this court and Lex thing is going to end. They're asking for privacy right now. They're going to try to keep it so cordial right now, keep the supporters out of their business. But then the comments are going to start getting to them. People are going to be in the comments picking a side, bashing them. And then one person is going to make a video that the other person don't like. And then they're going to spill everything and the truth going to come out. All we got to do is sit back and watch. We've seen this story so many times. So many times. So everybody that wants to know the truth, just give it a few days, a week at most. It's going to come out. All right. It's bound to happen. This is just what happens. All right. I'll call y'all back.
But anyways, let's speak about the biphobia discourse. When Kurt and Lex split, it didn't just end the relationship, it shifted the entire atmosphere around them. Friends group adjusted, plans changed, both of them were suddenly looking at the next phase of their lives from a completely different place. And in late 2025, rolling straight into early 2026, their breakup set off one of the most intense and divided conversations that queer spaces had seen in a freaking long time. Because this wasn't really about them anymore, it turned into a bigger question, one people already had a lot of feelings about. How are bisexual women treated when they date women, especially in lesbian relationships? And when lesbians hesitate to date bisexual women, is that hesitation rooted in real experience, or is it shaped by stereotypes and unresolved hurt? For a lot of people watching in real time, Lex going from being married to a woman to living with a man literally immediately just felt like confirmation. Not confirmation of what happened behind closed doors, but confirmation of something that the queer community have already feared. It felt like every bad story lesbians have heard or lived through themselves had suddenly been played out in public. The takeaway people kept repeating was blunt and painful. And what was it? People were saying that bisexual women will never stay. Eventually, they're gonna live for a man. You can build a life together, share a home, raise a child, get matching tattoos, and still find out that none of it guarantees commitment. If someone leaves as soon as another option appears, people read that as proof that the relationship was never solid, and the issue becomes trust, not the life you built on the outside. Some people treated Lexi's situation like evidence. She had built her platform around queer love and family life. She married a woman, she went through IVF, she spoke as if this was the life that she wanted long term. Then, only months after opening the relationship, She's living with a man and posting about how happy she feels now. And for people who had already been hurt or who had watched friends go through something very similar, it felt like the same story repeating itself yet again.
Dare I say that the lesbian or gay community has something to do with this dynamic of court and Lex right now? Dare I say that the influences of accepting everybody in every situation and everything is the reason why these bitches can sit up on this gram and sit up on this TikTok and play in our face the way that they play in our face? Dare I say that we low-key might have something to do with that? In what time, such as this one, would anybody accept two lesbians having a man in the marriage and still actively being able to speak on said lesbian marriage as if there's not a man in the middle? What society such as this one? Because I guarantee you, if they would have pulled this shit maybe 30 years ago, this wouldn't have been a thing. It wouldn't have been a thing at all. It wouldn't even have been an idea for them to cultivate. It wouldn't have had even a fucking platform to even utilize this bullshit. Sex is fluid. Do I agree with the switching of lesbian to liking men all of a sudden overnight? No, I don't accept it, because it has to be some type of idea, some type of sense that has to be formed for you to switch the way that you do. But it also is very confusing as to how you looking back at us as if we're the issue. You literally just had a hairline. Now you're looking at me with box braids. I'm going to get pissed off. And I know for a fact Lex has something to do with that. I know for a fact that she has something to do with it. I know for a fact Court looked a little easy. She looked a little gullible. She just looked like that in the face. Something about the face. It just screamed, run over me. And she did exactly that. I'm just confused. I'm overly confused. I'm more so confused for the kids. How do you explain that to the kids? You talking about something, oh, we just tell them the truth. Tell the truth of what? I just know it's some gay person justifying this just because they are still married to each other. I just know it. I know it. All the things, I'm low-key just like confused. I just feel like I'm watching like a fucking coercion happen. I feel like I'm watching a conversion camp in real life. I really feel like that's what's happening. I really feel like I'm watching like something. I'm watching court switch. Like,
don't judge. That could be you one day. Why would I have a baby with my cousin, have a baby with his brother, have a baby by a stud, add a man to our marriage, because you married to the stud, add a man to our marriage, me and my stud hunching on a man, and then me and the stud decide to separate after we done added this man to our marriage. The jokes write themselves. I hate people who pretend to be a part of underserved communities, especially the lesbian community, and then either God saved them or a man came into their life and they want to add it to the relationship, and then that fucks up their whole situation and they expect people to feel sorry for them. I'm not gonna say that. But y'all, please. It's so hard to feel bad for them. Because what do you mean? You lesbian fished everybody. Then added a man to y'all relationship. And now the relationship is fucked. And normally I would never relish in someone's like relationship demise, but when you play with an underserved community, especially queer, black, you get exactly what you deserve.
But there is something important that gets lost when reactions move too fast. There is real research on how bisexual people are treated within queer communities, and the results aren't comforting. Studies consistently show that bisexual women face doubt, suspicion, and a sense of not fully belonging, even in spaces that are meant to be safe. One report actually found that about a third of bisexual people still feel pressure to prove their sexuality in queer spaces. That is not a small number. That's literally 1 in 3 people working in rooms that are supposed to feel like home, still wondering if they'll be believed. It goes deeper than that. Many bisexual people say that the way that others read their sexuality changes depending on where they are. Too queer for straight spaces, not queer enough for gay ones, stuck in the middle, constantly questioned, rarely trusted. Bisexual women in particular deal with more suspicion in dating spaces than bisexual men, often facing rejection from multiple sides at once. But again, this is from studies and research and what I saw online. But I think bisexual men get questioned a lot, because I know straight women are like, most of the people that I've heard that said that they will be bisexual men are like queer people. But most straight women I know, they're like, I'm never going to be with a bisexual man. Because again, and that is rooted in homophobia, because they cannot imagine a man bending down for another man and being with them. And personally, I feel like that's rooted in homophobia. But in lesbian communities, the frustration is very real and people are not shy about saying it. On Reddit and elsewhere, people talked openly about why the Kurt and Lex's situation hit so close to home. Some asked why people seem to claim the lesbian label when it feels useful, only to shift how they identify later. Underneath that question is a deeper frustration. The feeling that queer identity gets treated like something flexible or optional, when for many lesbians, it has never felt that way. Others talked about how exhausting it is to see the same pattern play out again and again, dating someone seriously only to later feel like you were a phase, like you were real in the moment but not real enough to be chosen long term. That kind of hurt just sticks with people. It shapes how cautious they become, and that's where things get complicated. Because caution doesn't automatically mean prejudice. People protect themselves based on what they've lived through. But when caution turns into blanket assumptions, when one person's choices get used to judge an entire group, that's when it crosses a line. People who study sexuality have been very clear about this. Being bisexual doesn't make someone less loyal or less capable of commitment. Attraction is not behavior. Being attracted to more than one gender doesn't mean that you're always looking for something better or that you're secretly waiting to leave. Commitment comes from values, it comes from honesty and the choices that someone makes over time, not from who they are capable of being attracted to. Let me make this personal for a second because I think it matters. Like, I have been debating if I should tell you guys this about my life, okay? I know some of you have seen me on Hinge. Some of you have seen me on Hinge. I know that, but I'm on Hinge for a very different reason, just to find like more queer friends. But on Hinge, I actually put that I am ethically non-monogamous, which means I am E&M. And I do not practice it, but it's literally part of who I am. My partner has always known about this. Before we ever got together, we were literally very, very close friends, like very close friends, close to like best friends and everything. Like we used to have like sleepovers in my house and all of that. So there were no surprises and no big review later on, okay? It was already out in the open. Being E&M for me doesn't mean that I'm constantly seeking other people. It just means that I can be attracted to more than one person at the same time. And that is it. And even with that being true, I have been in a committed relationship for almost 3 years now. It's not a priority to me. Like E&M is not really a priority to me. It's not something that I am actively pursuing, but there is an understanding between us that if anything ever did come up, we will talk about it, you know, though it will not be like anything that will be spoken about in secret or in shock, just a conversation. And I've even had small crushes here and there, and I've been like very open about it. I would literally say, babe, I think I have a crush on this person, and then we'll analyze, and then there'll be conversations about like, do you think it's going to go anywhere? And I'm like, nah, I don't think so. And you're like, okay. And literally that's the end of it. Because attraction existing doesn't automatically mean that action has to follow. Communication is the whole point. I'm bringing this up because that wasn't the framework that people thought Kurt and Lex were operating in. A third person was never part of the equation for them. In fact, there's a video that I saw where Lex had previously said that if there was ever a third person around, it would be a babysitter, not just a partner. A babysitter. So when Rob suddenly appeared and it was not a babysitter, but like literally, you know, them doing the do when it was never part of the equation, it kind of feels jarring. It felt unplanned. It felt like a shift that no one had prepared for. And I don't think I'm poly because E&M is kind of under the umbrella of polyamorous. I think so. Yeah, I have a friend who is poly, like they can go out and date so many people at the same time, and they have like, I don't think they have primary partner, but like they can date so many people at the same time. But mine, E&M, is not really like that. Is personally, my friend said I'm doing E&M, they know there's no practicing, and again, like I said, it's not like really like a priority to me because like my relationship comes first, and I feel like I'll have to be like in a different headspace to be able to like practice that part of me or explore that part of me, even though it's a conversation that, because my girlfriend, we do check-in, so like we speak about it and everything, and yeah, but it is what it is. I've not yet acted on it. But anyways, like I said, it felt like a shift that no one had prepared for, including the audience. And that's why so many people found it very strange. Not because non-monogamy is inherently wrong, but because this didn't look like ethical non-monogamy. It didn't look like something discussed over time with clear boundaries and shared understanding. It looked sudden, it looked reactive and out of step with what they had publicly said before. Because even me, as someone who is E&M, like, I have not like literally like jump in to be like, oh my god, this is who I am, let me explore quickly. But this, from outside looking in, felt very, very sudden. If we are going with the definition or the conversation that they had said prior to telling us that they are broken up, because let's not forget that Lex and Court said that the three of them had agreed, or two of them had agreed for a third person in the relationship. Until now, Lex is like, oh, she had broken up with Court. So like we don't know. But again, it just felt very sudden. And when you compare that to how E&M actually works when it's done with care, with honesty and intention, the discomfort that people felt just starts to make sense. Because when it comes to how Lex is being treated, the nuance has disappeared.
I used to be in a polyamorous relationship where I dated a husband and a wife, and they brought me into their relationship as a permanent third, not just on a physical level because I'm a fun time in the sheets, but as like a permanent part of their relationship. We did holidays together, we've done trips together, we went on dates together. I met their family, they've met parts of my family, our kids had met. At one point we were thinking about moving in together. Like, it was a proper polyamorous triad, right? So I want to talk about how Lex and Court are getting so much pushback because they brought a man into their relationship. And I think from the videos that I'm seeing of people either like reenacting and doing skits or just talking about the situation, a lot of blame is being placed on Lex, saying that Lex had to be the one that thought of this and like pressured Court into bringing this man in, and Court's being left out and now she's third wheeling. And it's like, you guys are only saying that because she is the traditionally feminine presenting person in that relationship. So you think, oh, she needed a man, so she's the one who brought the man in. When it's like, if you really watch their content, Court is extremely affectionate with this man. Like, I'm pretty sure she is loved, she's kept, she is important in this triad. On top of that, it may just not look like that at certain times, because when you're in a poly relationship, it's not going to be an equal 33% across all parties involved all the time. It's not ever going to be fully equal all the time. There's going to be times when one person needs more attention than another. There's going to be times that there's discourse between two people in the relationship. There's going to be times where two people are trying to work on their relationship, especially when you're bringing in a third. There was a time period in that relationship that I was in where I had to date both of them separately to get to know them both before I could date them collectively. So like, I think people who are commenting on it are just monogamous, and when you are a monogamous, you couldn't even fathom the dynamic that exists in a poly, because it's completely different. There's nothing traditional about it. There is no man-woman dynamic that exists in societal norms. It's just everyone plays a part, and you just have to figure out that individual. There's also just like a certain level of deconstruction that you have to do to your own mindset and your own like thought processes to free yourself from the societal norms that exist in like monogamy. That's why you see straight people asking gay people like, oh, who's the boy in the relationship? Or you'll even see like lesbians who do take up the masc and female roles in even their gay relationship, because people have not really freed their minds from the shackles of like society and what's normal and what they feel is supposed to exist. Because when you're in a poly, all of that shit goes out the window. It's really you make the rules, and it is so freeing. It's a lot of work because, like I said, you're dating two people. It's not just threesomes and free-for-alls. Like, you are managing people's emotions, people's personalities, the dynamics that exist. You're constantly working on this structure and building something from the ground up. So it's like, there's a lot of work that goes into it, but you have to deconstruct your thought processes around relationships and dynamics that you feel are supposed to be there, because they don't exist in poly.
Sexuality is a spectrum. Sexuality is fluid. I was once attracted to men, but now I genuinely cannot imagine myself with one. When it comes to Lex, people rush to conclusions. Many assume that she must have been the one to push for opening the relationship, even though that was never confirmed. They framed her as lonely for male attention, as if a man was a missing piece all along. They assumed that she steered everything towards this outcome on purpose, and all of those stories just rest on the same biphobic idea that when a bisexual woman dates another woman, the relationship is temporary by default. The truth is, we don't actually know who suggested what. We don't know what conversations happened in private. We don't know if either of them felt pressured or what needs weren't being met or what compromises were made behind closed doors. We were not there. We don't get the access. What we do know is simple. And what is it? The relationship ended. But because Lex is bisexual, the blame snapped to her almost instantly. Not because there was clear evidence, but because the story fits a stereotype that people were already carrying. It felt familiar, so it spread easily. That's why this matters beyond just one couple. When a breakup like this happens in public, especially one tied to identity, it becomes a symbol. A bisexual woman ends up carrying the weight of it even when the situation itself is far more complicated than one person's orientation. The assumptions that people made about Lex were not neutral. They were shaped by long-standing beliefs about what bisexuality means in relationships with women. And that's the uncomfortable question sitting underneath all of this. Are people reacting to what actually happened here, or are they using the breakup to confirm what they already believed about bisexual women all along?
When I first heard about this Court and Lex whole situation, I wholeheartedly thought that it was going to be the femme's idea to bring the man into the relationship. Like, I genuinely thought that I was going to be like, oh, it's another one of those situations where the femme isn't satisfied or is wanting something more or something like that, or you know what I mean, like wanting a man, you know, or wanting their cake and eating it too, wanting a man and wanting to stay at the same time. Until I looked at that video, y'all, the video that the femme had posted of all the people asking like, okay, so how did this discussion come about? How did y'all introduce a man into your relationship? Like, what the fuck? Like, WTF? Like, everybody's mad confused. And she posted a video and she turned that camera, y'all. She turned that camera and it's the stud cuddled up with the man. It's really the stud touching up on, feeling on the dude's beard and like literally like laying in his arms on his chest, like on some like real lovey-dovey shit. And I could have sworn for like half a second, the stud's eyes got real big, like real quick, like almost like she got caught up or some shit. Like I feel like she wasn't really ready for that. Like the wife kind of caught her off guard or whatever, because it's like, girl, you was laid up with that man real comfortable. Like the wife was on the other side of the couch, like real shit. So I'm like, I'm just confused. I don't know what's going on. Like, I've been said I'm done with the whole label. Like, I'm not a stud no more. Like I said, y'all put too many rules to this shit. I'm just me. I'm mask presenting. At the end of the day, I'm just me. I'm a gay female mask presenting woman. Boom. That's what I am. I'm no longer, don't consider me anything more that anything close to a stud anymore. I'm lost. This just left field.
Let's speak about the performance of intimacy. What unsettles me most about all of this isn't the breakup itself, and it's not even the drama that came with it. It's what lingers after the noise dies down. That quiet, uncomfortable feeling that you get when you start asking yourself what all of this actually meant. Court and Lex didn't just share bits of their lives online. They turned their entire lives into something that could be packaged and sold. Their marriage, their kids, their private struggles, even something as deeply personal as IVF, the fear, the hope. Bruh. They turned their entire lives into a package, literally. And again, I'm too Nigerian because what I was raised up with was like things like planning to have a child. Pregnancy is very like intimate, so it's not something that you got like sharing to the world and everything. That's how I was brought up. I remember a time when Beyonce announced the fact that she was pregnant with Blue Ivy, and I watched the video. I was still young then, and I was like, it felt so very like culture shock to me, because I'm like, back at home we are told to like cover your pregnancy because of evil eye and all of that. Obviously I know that people that give birth push their children on Instagram and all of that. It's still something I'm still trying to like get used to because pregnancy is very delicate to me. I personally don't want to get pregnant, and yeah, so anyways, let's continue. When it came to Court and Lex, nothing just stayed theirs. Every milestone was planned, filmed, edited, and posted for millions of people to watch. And when you really sit with that, it's fucking heavy, yeah? A positive pregnancy test is usually a moment just between you and your partner. Even then, it's very complicated because it brings excitement, fear, pressure, questions about the future. In their case, it was also a video, it was something to frame, upload, and monetize. A birth isn't just the emotional moment of becoming a parent, it's the beginning of sleepless nights, new routines, constant learning. For them, it was also a storyline. Even arguments weren't just arguments. If you present them the right way, they become relatable, funny, engaging, something people comment on, something that keeps people very invested in. That creates a kind of pressure that most people or most relationship will never experience. When your income depends on people just staying interested in your relationship, the line between living and performing just starts to blur. You're no longer just dealing with problems, you're managing how those problems appear to strangers. And there is an uglier truth sitting under all of this. Breakups get views. Mess gets attention. People can't look away when something starts falling apart. A couple posting cute daily routines might do well, but a public breakup pulls people in harder. It's unpredictable, it's emotional, it's raw. So when things start going wrong, what do? Do you keep it private and risk losing relevance? Or do you let the cracks show because you know people are gonna watch? When you're hurting, are you focused on healing or are you focused on how the story is going to be told? That line between honest sharing and exploitation is thinner than people like to admit. In my experience, it disappears completely. So, Go magazine actually touched on this when they wrote about the situation. So they weren't blaming lesbian breakup. They were asking whether the real issue is how much we cling to messy online couples, treating them like they're supposed to represent an entire community. And that question stuck with me because it feels true. Cut and Lex probably didn't start out wanting to be symbols. Maybe they were just having fun, sharing moments, doing what everyone else was doing. But at some point, their content stopped being casual and just turned into something bigger. They became proof that queer women could have love, marriage, kids, stability, and a happy ending. People didn't just watch them for entertainment. People believed in them. For some, they represented hope, a real example that something better was possible. That's a heavy thing to carry, especially while trying to manage a relationship, trying to raise kids and pay bills. And they leaned into it. They accepted the role, the audience, the sponsorship, the income, the influence. They benefited from being seen as relationship goals. So when that image cracked, it makes sense that people feel betrayed. Not because they owed anyone perfection, but because they had invited people into something deeply personal and built a brand around it. What I keep coming back to more than anything else is the kid, being Noel, Genesis, and Scarlett. They never asked of any of this. They never asked for any of this. They never agreed to have their lives documented and analyzed by millions of strangers. They were too young, or they are still too young, to understand what it means to become content. Their parents' entire relationship, from the happiest moment to the most painful ones, is now stored online forever. That doesn't go away. One day the kids could scroll through the internet and watch their family come together and fall apart in 60-second clips. They could read comments from strangers judging their parents, judging their home, judging moments from their childhood that they barely remember. Scarlett could just wake up one day and find out that her dad is her mom's cousin. Bean can watch the story of his own birth. The girls can notice the moments that the tone shifts when they stop being part of the family's story and become Lexi's kids instead of our kids. That's not nothing. We are still figuring out what it means to raise kids in the age of social media. A lot of parents overshare without thinking about the long-term impact. Cut and Lex went further than most. Their family life wasn't just shared, it was structured, it was planned, it was monetized. Their kids' daily life became part of an income stream. When people ask what that does to a child, they're asking what it feels like from the child's side. Kids don't have the language that adults have. They carry things in their body. One gets quiet, another acts out. Another tries to be perfect just to keep the peace. Even when adults think that a child has moved on, that doesn't mean that they have. Growing up like that teaches you early that privacy isn't guaranteed, that your hardest moments might not fade with time because they've been archived. It can mess with how you remember things because your memories compete with the version that strangers think that they know. It can also change how you see your parents. Were they comforting you because you needed it or because it looked good on camera? When the relationship falls apart publicly, the divorce doesn't stay inside the home. Strangers pick sides, they make jokes, they argue, and you're the one living with the lost. Over time, that kind of childhood can make you crave quiet. It can make trust harder because attention always came with conditions. We don't know yet how this will affect the kids long term. They are still young. The consequences won't show up right away, but the digital trail is already there and they didn't get a choice in creating it. That's the part that sits heavier than the breakup. Heavier than the biphobia discourse, heavier than whatever influencer drama I'm seated here discussing. That's where it feels like a line was crossed, like something went too far, like a boundary that should have stayed intact didn't. Now let's talk about the lessons and the reflections. What I take away from the Court and Lex situation is this. It was never just tea. It wasn't just a bad breakup for people to react and move on from. It put a curtain back on a bunch of things that we pretend not to see. When a couple is famous, makes their relationship public, and builds money around it. The first lesson is the obvious one. They moved fast. Not we fell in love quickly fast, but we skipped the part where you actually learn who somebody is under pressure fast. A month talking before moving in. 6 months before an engagement. Married 9 months after meeting. That's not enough time to see how someone handles real stress or money problems or family conflict or sick days or jealousy or boredom or long-term resentment or any of it. And once kids are in the mix, the stakes aren't just emotional. Children, they attach, they settle into routines, they start viewing someone as stable even when the adults are still in the honeymoon phase. I'm not saying that fast relationships are automatically doomed. Some people do meet and just know. But when you move that quickly, you need to be extra intentional about communication, about boundaries, about reality checks. Otherwise, you're basically building a house at full speed and hoping that the foundation forms itself.
Okay. Let's see. Our favorite movie. What would you say, babe? Set it off?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Hit us with your next question, guys. Okay. What's our favorite activity to do together? I would have to say any activity, whether it's brushing our teeth or doing the dishes, as long as we're doing it together. It's my favorite. What would you say, babe?
Yeah, definitely what you said.
Isn't she the sweetest? Okay, well, we have to hop off for dinner. It's chicken fajita night. So we're gonna go and we'll be back tomorrow at the same time. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Seriously, Reese? You can't think of anything better to say than, yeah, definitely the whole time? God, I can't carry every single live stream by myself.
What do you expect, Ava? I told you I was balling with Kwame and Bisa at the courts today, and you scheduled our live at the same exact time. Do we have to go live every single day?
Reese, we have talked about this. Our live streams pay for all of this. You playing basketball and taking your little dance classes do not. Come on, I mean, we are role models to thousands of queer couples. That's a huge responsibility, and we don't want to let them down, right? Besides, don't you remember how much we used to struggle back then before our channel popped off? We could barely afford toilet paper.
Yeah, but at least we were happy.
What was that?
Nothing. I'm gonna go meet Bisa and Kwame at the courts.
The second lesson is label confusion. And people pretend that this doesn't matter, but it actually does. Kurt and Lex said that they are sexually fluid and they do not believe in labels. Fine. The problem here is the audience, because the audience still gave them labels anyway. People saw Mask and Firm, they saw a marriage between two women and decided it was a lesbian relationship. They treated the assumption as fact. So when Rob entered the picture, people reacted like they've been lied to all along, even though the couple never actually promised what the audience assumed. That doesn't mean that the audience is stupid. It means perception becomes reality online. If you build your platform on identity and representation, you cannot act shocked when people latch onto the simplest label available. If you benefit from the assumptions when they are going well with you, you cannot ignore the assumptions when they start causing backlash. The third lesson, and this is the one I keep coming back to, is that kids deserve privacy. Bean and Lex's 3 children never agreed to have their lives filmed and posted. They can't consent to becoming content. Their childhood is not public property. Clips can be saved, reposted and staged and discussed and turned into receipts and dragged back and forth and dragged up years later. AI is making rubbish out of children's videos, and by the time that Bean is a teenager, kids at school could easily find footage of his birth story, his parents' relationship, their breakup, and strangers arguing about his family like it was a TV show. The girls could grow up with thousands of comments sitting under videos that feature them, their home, their routine, their parents' dynamics, and that's a digital footprint created for them without them having to say. The fourth lesson is that biphobia is real, and the way people turned on Lex shows it. The breakup happened. Lex ended up living with a man, and suddenly people treated it like a gotcha moment for bisexual women as a whole. Like, this one situation just proved every stereotype. People weren't just critiquing her choices, they were using her as a stand-in for every bisexual woman. That's where it crosses the line. It's possible to say, this specific situation hurts me, I'm cautious. It's not fair to say, bi women cannot be trusted. Those are different statements. One is someone protecting themselves, and the other is prejudice dressed up as experience. The fifth lesson is about open relationships, because a lot of people talk about polyamory or A&M like it's either the solution to everything or the reason that everything collapses. It's neither. Open relationships can work, but they need a very steady base. They need real honesty, they need clear boundaries, they need ongoing check-ins, a willingness to pause if someone is getting hurt. Like when I say the communication when it comes to polyamory or E&M has to be constant, I mean it has to be constant. I think that's another reason why I cannot be asked, because the communication has to be so open to the person, the two of them. Like, you cannot leave any stone unturned. If a relationship is already shaky, opening it often doesn't fix anything. It just makes the cracks show faster. And the part people don't want to admit is that we don't know why Kurt and Lex opened their relationship. We don't know who suggested it. We don't know if they even opened their relationship because of what Lex said after. We don't know what was going on privately. We just know that it happened and then things fell apart. The last lesson is the algorithm, because this is the part that makes everything feel so bleak. Social media doesn't reward stability, okay? It rewards emotions, conflict, shock, mess. A calm, healthy relationship is boring online. A breakup with vague posts, accusations, new partner, side characters, and shifting timelines gets attention. And when attention equals money, it creates a very nasty incentive. The machine doesn't care if you're okay. It cares if people are watching. So when your relationship becomes part of your income, you're not just dating, you're running a brand, and the brand will always be tempted to post more, share more, reveal more, even when the healthiest thing would be to log off and handle it privately. Kurt and Lex didn't just go through a breakup, they went through a breakup while being watched, judged, and rewarded for the mess. And that's the fucking trap. The trap will happen because the marriage was already cracking, or did bringing a third person in push it past the point of no return? Looking at how things unfolded, it feels much likely that the problems were already there. By the time Rob entered the picture in late 2025, the signs were hard to ignore. They weren't posting together the way they used to. They started separating their online lives. The energy between them felt careful, almost distant, like two people just trying not to say the wrong thing on camera. Opening the relationship may not have caused the breakup, but it probably sped it up. When a couple is already struggling, adding another person doesn't usually fix anything. It tends to bring unresolved issues to the surface faster and louder than before. If the foundation isn't solid, it doesn't take much to make it collapse. What is striking is how quickly their public image has flipped. In less than 18 months, they went from being everywhere, held up as an example of queer family life, to being talked about as a cautionary tale. They fell into each other fast. They shared everything and then fell apart just as publicly. Most people never go through something like that with millions of eyes watching. And the question that lingers is a quiet one, but it matters. If they had kept more of their relationship private, if they hadn't turned so much of their lives into content, would the ending have looked differently? Or at least, would it have been less painful to live through? We'll never really know. But it's very hard not to wonder how much of what happened was about the relationship itself and how much was shaped by the fact that it was always being washed. Hi guys, so that brings us to the end of this video. I hope I was able to deliver this video to you guys, and thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate. Thank you for watching and for watching to the end. If you made it to the end, drop a green emoji to commemorate my lovely shirts. Like, what do you mean? I think I look good. Drop a green emoji to, like, as an ode to my clothes. Okay, so basically guys, I literally made my hair myself. I am so obsessed. It took me 3 days. If you follow me on Instagram, I was like literally posting like a vlog style of me making my hair, and yo, I made this hair myself. Like, this is my third time doing like tiny braids, and every time I've done it, it's taking me 3 days, and I'm so glad. Last time I did was 2021, 2022, and I was like, oh, I'm never gonna do it again. It was 2021. First time I did was 2020, second time was 2021. I was like, I'm never gonna do it again because it takes a lot of my time, and I ended up doing it again. But thing is, it always eats. Like, I feel like this is like Beyonce braid. I think Beyonce has done something like that, I don't know. But anyways guys, if you watch it to the end, let me know what you guys think about this whole case, because yo, like, when this happened, I was like, I don't think anybody was kind of surprised, starting from when they started introducing like a third person into their marriage out of nowhere, and the breakup was kind of bound to happen, and it actually did. So yeah, there is that. But yeah, for the most part, this is all I have for you guys today. If you guys love something like this, you can drop in the comment section what you guys would want me to talk about next. Okay, and I really did enjoy recording this for you guys. How long have I recorded this for? Almost 2 hours. 1 hour 41 minutes 56 seconds going now. But yeah, thank you guys so much for stopping by and for watching. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. So let me get to work. In the sense I have to like edit this video so I'll be able to put it out for you guys. But if you guys have any suggestions, if you guys want me to talk about anything, kind of put it in the comment section. I'm always watching the comment section, and please be kind to these people. Okay, thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. Until next time, bye bye.